In our research and practice, we confront climate change by working to foster awareness and sensitivity in how we relate to and exist in our urban environments.
And the work entitled Glass Cities. Could we have a slide, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Begins these reflections and joins our literary and visual practices by giving shape to a model where worlds and materials intertwine.
In this project, I work with concrete and soil to highlight the materials that make up cities. These city islands extracted from the ground show what is under our feet, the earth, and their inscriptions in the urban fabric create a kind of interface.
After viewing Alexia's initial models, I created a poetic response to them. Alexia and I work by bringing narrative, lyricism, and material together to generate and conceptualize different singular milieux. As Augustin Buck says, the environment is universal, is the same for all beings, a collection of ecosystems viewed from the abstract standpoint of modern science, and more specifically that of ecology. On the contrary, the milieu is singular, as it is specific to every single living species and human culture.
Unlike architects, we use scale models to model their building, to mirror their drawings as closely as possible. These representations offer a conceptual, sensory, and poetic framework to consider different layers that come together to form buildings, city, and more generally, the human colonization of space in the economy.
Glass Cities is a good example of how these changes and links between thoughts, actions, and materials can be created. By becoming more conscious of the different links that make up the milieu we inhabit and their material construction, we can be more sensitive to the animate and inanimate parts that form it.
Glass cities imagine an urban milieu that has been completely occupied by human desires and how they manifest in the economy, to the point that humans are completely absent and the city has been colonized by data.
So how do we find a place for human beings and other forms of life in environments that are becoming increasingly inhospitable to all forms of life given human actions?
In Garden Memoria, we conceived the plan in a response to a call for projects by the residential university campus, La Cité universitaire, to offer paperable answers to this question in an urban garden with the architects Maran Rekik and Sarah Ketroussi.
We chose to write an ecological fiction. We wanted to create a space for reflection where thoughts and humans could vagabond and cross paths with other forms of plant and animal life.
Our propositions took the form of a memorial garden that a future generation would have constructed in memory of actions that have occurred throughout history, actions we have both induced climate change and others that have reversed it. The symbolism of passage and transition invites visitors to travel through history and reflect on our future.
We are currently working with the architect Maëlle Barthélemy on a new proposal for the 2020 call for gardens and movement, Poldinsen.
This garden will grow out of the community that surrounds it. We have chosen to place this proposition in the courtyard of a dormitory, which will convert into a plot of urban farmland. These vegetable patches will be maintained and consumed by the residents, and the crops we plant will be chosen with them to adapt their needs.
It is essential for us to change our relationship as well as the dynamics between urban communities and agricultural ones by transforming the lawn and the center of the courtyard into a shared kitchen garden. The space will alleviate dependence on imported foods and foster the creation of community.
In addition to planting seeds, we will also be working with residents through writing workshops to plant and cultivate their hope for the Earth's future, which will find a home in the garden alongside the plants. we work with this tension between what already exists in concrete terms, what is written, inscribed, and what can change. What is the order of foresight and anticipation?
Our stories build a city just as much as bricks and mortar. These stories shape our milieu and ways of being, and as such are fragile and need to be nourished and cared for, just as the foundations that form our cities, which are subject to erosion and collapse. This collapse is also brought on by modes of life, narratives that encourage endless expansion and the anthropic colonization of the earth, leading to ecological devastation and massive extinctions.
To build more solid foundation, we need to change our founding narratives.
Alexia and I are currently putting in place the Visiteurs du Futur, in which we work with residents in Paris's northern neighborhood of La Chapelle in an exploration of urban imaginations and their inscriptions within a territory through potential divergent futures, time travel. The title of this project, Les Visiteurs du Futur, is a reference to the role we will take on as two ambassadors from the year 3020, who visit the neighborhood to investigate human beings' terrestrial life in cities with their inhabitants.
In costume, we will station ourselves at metro exits and solicit passersby to take out prospectuses with flashy utopian and dystopian covers, but blank inside, and to invite them to a cycle of writing art workshops. Throughout this cycle of workshop, we will write and draw La Chapelle in 1,000 years' time.
The stories and images drawn from these workshops will fuel the collective creation of urban models representing different possible futures for the neighborhood that will also be displayed in the sites of the workshops that host the workshops, and will be accompanied by the publication of design that will recount these now visible cities' future.
In order to create dialogue between these possible futures and the present, we will also conduct a documentary investigation into the cohabitation of urban fabric by long-term Parisians and refugee communities. In particular, we will examine initiatives that seek to form other models of community and to address basic needs in combination with contextual artistic practice, such as the work with organizations like Les Petits Déjeuners Solidaires, which provide a daily breakfast to undocumented immigrants and the homeless, and Le Pérou, pôle d'exploration des ressources urbaines, that is currently working on having acts of hospitality recognized as an immaterial world heritage by UNESCO.
We will contrast these urban temporalities and trajectories with real estate speculation that has begun to affect the neighborhood. This investigation considers different urban practices, both utopian and speculative, within a specific context, in order to imagine their global implications and to reflect on the future in a practical consideration of temporal mythologies. Climate change's catastrophic temporal and ecological consequences are a direct result of human actions on our milieu and the environment at large. It is also one of the primary causes of massive migrations, and this will only get worse.
To address climate change and its temporal and environmental consequences within urban milieu, it is necessary to experiment with time travel.
We found that poetry and art are effective ways to navigate our overlapping temporalities and an inflection on our collective futures.
Thank you very much. So now